And I see that you're huge on affirmations, and so that's something I've heard about in the past, but this year I really step into it. Me and Joseph had a coach that she was strong into that, and so we've been affirmations has been a thing. But for me, I've tried to teach people about it, even my own family. I'm like, hey, affirm things. It's biblical. Like, go get it. Go say it in the air. God, here's your calls. Here's your prayers. Here's your talks. Right. But can you talk about affirmations? Because some people, like, oh, they'll do it for a month, and then if they're like, oh, it's not working, so they quit. Can you talk about experiences you've seen, some of the wins, some of where there's losses, why there's losses, why do people not receive those affirmations? Can you talk about like the good and the bad about it?
Right. So affirmations is something that I practice myself. Everything that I teach, I do. So it's nothing that I just put out there that's abstract and I don't do it myself. So I'm a strong proponent of affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that we continue to tell ourselves over and over again to help the brain lock it in a sense. So it takes 21 days for the brain to form a habit. So if you repeat something in repetition, over and over again every day for 21 days, the subconscious mind will take root. And so, even though you may not believe these things initially that you're saying, if you repeat it over and over again for 21 days, the brain will allow you to believe it. So then you start to embody what that is. And the thing about affirmations is a lot of times people, they don't know how to say them.
Mhm.
So feeling through it when you're saying them, but also sometimes phrasing it as a question so it can be believable. Some people reject it and it doesn't work for them because they don't believe what they're saying initially. So it's like, you say, hey, I am successful. I am amazing. I am this. So if you're a person who has low self-esteem and you don't believe that you're amazing, you don't believe that you're handsome or you're beautiful or that, any of these things. So frame it in a question instead. Why am I so successful? Why
Mm.
am I an amazing person? So it takes the doubt out of it, but it forms a question. And so it allows you to think about that question as you're
Mhm.
saying it. So that helps your subconscious, understand it a whole lot better and you process it in a different way. So you can start to believe it.
And then how should you measure like what's too high? Like if I'm like affirming like I want $1 million, I own $1 million, I own $1 million, and I'm consistently doing that, right? But let's say it's not feasible. Like what's too high and what's like too low of like a affirmation? Is there limits
Well,
to it?
everything is feasible. Everything is feasible.
Get
There's
that
nothing too
mindset
high.
right.
Right. There's nothing too high. The thing about it is where the disconnect comes is you have to believe that you're capable of manifesting $1 million.
Mm.
You can have $1 million. You can be a billionaire. You just have to believe it. So if you have any wobble in your subconscious about that thought, if that's too far fetched for you, then it's not going to happen. But you repeat it every day and you start to believe it. And then, things will start coming into your experience where you have to take what we call inspired action. So it's something that's going to happen to allow you to be able to get on that trajectory to attracting $1 million in your life.
Mm. That's good. That's
It's
good.
faith and works,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
no, I love like this topic of mindset. Like this is probably my
This is
favorite
Joe's topic.
topic. Books and just I'm a big proponent of it because everything goes down to mindset. Even your faith walk, just trusting in God, right? Like there's so much of your mindset to give everything. As Christians, we like to say like, "Oh God, this is yours," but so many people say that, and then they have that lack mentality, that fear mentality of like, "I know it's yours, but like, when are you going to show up?" You know, and so like for me, this is just my opinion, if you can get your mindset right, everything else in your life will be a beneficiary of you having that proper mindset.
Right. Yeah. But it's also eliminating all the negative things. It's important what you feed your mind. And
Mhm.
I
Yep.
don't think people really understand that concept. It is very important what you feed your mind. So, not being so engulfed in the world news, the daily news, watching things on television that just disrupt your spirit, whether it's, consistent horror things or whatever, all of that stuff, impacts you and how you feel, and it impacts your mood, your anxiety levels, your ability to manifest, all of that, because you're being tainted about, other beliefs as opposed to what it is that you believe within yourself.
Absolutely. I don't know if you can share this information. I don't know if this is like client confidentiality, but what has been something that, a client has, maybe affirmed and it came to fruition? It could be, small, it could be large. They just, at the beginning of working with you, that maybe they didn't really believe it. And then, over time they started to believe it, and then boom, it came out of, thin air essentially.
Well, that's a good segue into my book.
Hey, we love some promotion.
Yes, the relationship blueprint. So with this book, so I have worked with, several clients, and most recently, testimony, I have a client who I talked to about the very principles that I put, in my book, about how to manifest the right one in your life, choosing a partner that aligns with you.
Yep.
So being able to get her clear with what it is that she wants. But first, the first step is you being clear within yourself, you learning how to love yourself, understanding that aspect. So tools and techniques and things on how to do that, as well as calling in exactly what you want in a partner. But understanding that what you call in that partner, you have to be aligned with it within yourself. So you can't ask someone to have all these different things and you're lacking. You have to get yourself together first before you can attract the partner that's for you. Not perfect, but perfect for you. So we did that. We did those exercises and everything. And so this was like one session I had with her. The next session, when we met the next week, she was so excited to meet with me and tell me how fast it happened. That literally the next 2 days after our session, when we went through everything, she did the exercises I told her to do, which was basically writing down her desires and what it is that she wanted. I'm talking about feeling it. It's one thing to write it down, but it's another thing to really get clear and feel it as if it has already manifested, that it's happening in your experience, walking the walk, how this makes you feel, how this person makes you feel. So with her actually doing the exercise, someone was called in, and she just couldn't believe it. It was too good to be true. Like in the conversations and everything, and she was like, I like him. And it was the attraction was just so strong with him. Basically, first time him meeting her, wanting to, call her his girlfriend and all these things. She was like, hold on, wait. Can we get to know each other more first? And all of these things. It was just like it was just fate. And so she was like, I just can't believe that it works so fast. Like now I'm scared. Now you have to tell me, you have to show me how to keep this. So that's a strong testimony. And that's something that, that I was proud to see. Like, okay, when you get clear, you can get what it is that you want.